Paul Heyman might no longer be the wise man, but he is still a numbers man. And let's now dive into those numbers with the Smackdown ratings. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. No doubt about it, Paul Heyman getting kicked out the bloodline, creating a lot of hype, getting a lot of views across social media. How did that translate, though, into the SmackDown ratings? Well, of course, nobody knew he was getting kicked out until it happened, and SmackDown actually seen the ratings go down. So last week, SmackDown did 2.336 million. This week, unfortunately, for SmackDown, they declined. They lost 3%, and they did 2.256 million. So 80,000 views down on last week's show. Not great there. It is disappointing, but still, I think that if people knew what was going to happen, if they'd have kicked... This is why I think maybe they should have kicked off with the Bloodline segment, because then word gets around, people are tweeting on social media, people find out what's happened to Paul Heyman, and then the rest of the show can be the aftermath, can be the fallout to Paul Heyman. But they decided to do what they do quite a lot on SmackDown, give us nothing for the first hour and a half, and hope that we stick around for the final quarter. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, final half an hour even, but we'll see by the quarter ratings at breakdown whether people did stick around. But yeah, time and time again, that just happens too often with SmackDown, where the first hour and a half isn't really worth watching, and then they just save the big segment for the end, which I get. Look, the big segment should be the end, the big segment should be the main event, but if the show sucks so much in the first hour and a half that people are going to tune out, then what does it matter? You can have the best main event ever, but if the people tune out before they get there, then it is irrelevant. So, yeah, SmackDown this week, viewership 2.256 million. Key demo was a 0.66, which is down 10%. That's pretty concerning, actually. Down 10% from last week's 0.73. So, not a good number there. But let's look at some good numbers then. The viewership for the YouTube clicks, the YouTube views. So, Paul Heyman in first place, to nobody's surprise, really. The full segment with the Bloodline attacking Paul Heyman in first place with 1.961 million. So almost 2 million views here. And this must be one of the best performing YouTube videos of the year. This has to be up there with The Rock and CM Punk during WrestleMania. It's probably up there with I know there was one Liv Morgan segment with Dominic that did really well. I think it was the one where she was basically riding him. So yeah, this is a really good number here from SmackDown, from the Bloodline and Paul Heyman. Second place with 1 million views, the developing Paul Heyman leaves SmackDown in an ambulance. So this is an after show clip, and it's doing better than anything else on the show. So that goes to show you that people care about Paul Heyman. Third place with 806,000, sorry, not million. Cody Rhodes ignites a brawl with the Bloodline. Fourth place, we have 537,000. The NYPD escort Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens out of the arena. Fifth place, 460,000. Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Haliburton square off at SmackDown. I mean, these two guys must be relatively well known, because I have no idea who they are, but they're in fifth place, bringing in decent numbers. Sixth place with 297,000 views. Paul Heyman refuses to acknowledge Solo Sikoa and pays dearly. And then in seventh place with 294,000 views, Tiffany Stratton qualifying for the Money in the Bank. But no surprise that the full segment with the Bloodline attacking Paul Heyman got almost 2 million views. Are we going to see a good response to this next week? People might be tuning in to SmackDown expecting to see the return of Roman Reigns. So the next SmackDown will be the go-home show before Money in the Bank. Will we get the fallout to this? Will anybody come out on Paul Heyman's behalf? Will we see Roman return? Will we see maybe Jimmy Uso return? I'm not convinced. I don't know. Will we see Paul Heyman get replaced as the wise man? I've seen a few names getting floated about. I've seen Rikishi being floated about. I've seen Armando Estrada. His name is being talked about as well. I think they definitely need it, because the Bloodline, for me, they need someone that can talk. They need someone that can cut promos, because the 4 guys that they have right now kind of fucking suck. So yeah, I think they need a new wise man. It would be wise for the Bloodline to get a new wise man, and I guess we'll have to wait and see. Will we find out this week on SmackDown, or will they keep us waiting? Who knows? I guess we'll just have to tune in and find it. But yeah, SmackDown down in the ratings. Not much, 80,000 viewers lost. But they might get this back next week. People might tune in next week to see the aftermath of Paul Heyman. But knowing WWE, it could take weeks or months until we see Roman Reigns come out on behalf of Paul Heyman looking for revenge. That's assuming that Roman Reigns is going to have loyalty to Paul Heyman. You think that he would? But maybe he'll be more concerned about his title. Maybe he'll be more concerned about the fact that the Bloodline no longer acknowledge him. Anyway, guys, that's it. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.